Just a long lost look in your eyes brings out a love that I can't disguise. So take me down to the places I've never seen. Oh, don't you try to kill me with kind. It's just your love that's driving me wild.
The series gets all tied up 1-1 as Jin Air put in the effort and take a big win over KT. We're taking a look at the highlights here from exactly how it went down, but Teddy having his way with KT in this one.
Really entertaining game this early on. It seemed like Pawn might decide the game. 5 squishies for him to assassinate as the team fights went on, but never did we get true front-to-back team fights for the side of KT Rolster. It was a messy game. Assassinations left, right, and center by the members of KT and by the members of Jin Air ended up being decided by Teddy as we get super late. It was a really amusing one. It was a really fun one. But the big struggle for KT was they could never really play the game on their terms. This game was fought on the battlegrounds forged by Jin Air GreenWings.
It's funny how in these first couple of highlights, Teddy is having a rough time, and especially after this fight, SoHwan getting a lot of kills on the back end. He looked like he was going to be the carry for Jin Air. Didn't really end up being that way, but because the gangplank was so strong, allowed Jin Air a bunch of power in these mid-game fights.
I mean, at this point, you're thinking, okay, this is the Pawn highlight reel. It's all about the Zoe. There were some great Zoe moments, but there was also very big value coming out of the Cosmic Race, the final fight of the game. When Nidalee is assassinated in the back, that means that Pawn can't be grouped with his tanks. Speaking of tanks, everyone gets shredded by Teddy, frontlining as the Zoe in this particular fight. Score never even gets to build, sorry, Smeb never even gets to build a Meganar. Quadra kill here, long ago. The pentakill timer was extended. You got a penta, you have to promise us, well, just trust us. It happened as Jin Air picked a draft to win early, and it took a while for that to actually kick in. It took about 20 minutes. But as the game went longer and longer, 15K, the final gold lead. Never could KT get what they wanted to happen, and yeah, Score, it felt like a passenger for the majority of the game. Just 2,500 damage put out.
Yeah, it's no 6-12, but it's still a similar situation where the Score Zach was not really having too much fun in this game. Less damage than the Tom Kent, who was doing more trading in the bottom side and got more damage. But as you can see, Jin Air eventually on that gold graph just pushed it to the limit up to 15,000. I'm curious to see who's going to be the MVP because it was a flashy pentakill, but is he going to be the one? No, it's going to be SoHwan, who did not die. And it says, Teddy gets the pentakill thanks to me up in the top. And I mean, he doesn't die, 82% kill participation, had a fantastic game on Gangplank. Can't really argue with this one.
And the strength of SoHwan in the side lane can't really be understated. He was up in CS against Anar for basically the entire game. And that means we don't need to see the gold numbers to know a 4,000 gold lead or so is what he was putting up there. Even a solo kill attempted on Smeb a couple of times. He had great control. That meant by the time as the game went on, there was nowhere winning for the side of KT Rolster for them to actually bully around. The Gnar was losing to the Gangplank. The rest of the members of KT were losing the 4v4. So only good news stories for the side of Jin Air GreenWings, and also a champion I heavily expect to be banned on the blue side. On the red side, I should say, for KT Rolster. They cannot allow that one to be available for Game 3.
Would have to agree. KT Rolster phone cases are out. They're going to need some extra pressure from the fans to win this one because Jin Air, they're putting up a hell of a fight. Let's jump into pick and ban for game number 3.
So we think all the way back to game one. Blue side bans for Jin Air there. Gangplank, SoHwan, and the JAG. So a lot of pinch on the jungle boys. 3 jungle bans by KT Rolster on the blue side in game number 2, but they will blue side ban the Gangplank, not wanting to reach for that one as a first pick.
Yeah, we're going to have the Galio once again banned out here from KT. The Kalista was actually banned out first in game number 1 from KT. Explains why Teddy was not able to get that one, but similar bans this time. You mentioned the SoHwan gets banned out again here by Jin Air.
I feel like Jin Air will take another rollback where they feel like they get Skarner for free. Question is, will KT allow them to pair it with Taliyah? Because this time I think the Taliyah would rise to a first-round pick for Jin Air. I think a Taliyah ban should start to be considered against Grace, who's been reliable on this pick in recent memory. I'll stick with the Kalista ban for now. Final ban on the red side was Ezreal. I think that's where that Ezreal ban should become a Taliyah ban to stop them getting full power out of the Skarner.
Bit of a mix-up here. Jack's not going to be banned. They take away the Zyra Khan this time from KT, which was the response on the first rotation there. So let's see how KT wants to respond to that ban. Will they ban out the Skarner? Will they ban out something like Taliyah? Will they have a different kind of way to go about it? But no, it's actually the Ezreal once again banned out.
So I think they're trying to basically threaten a Varus Braum kind of comp in the first round on red side to punish. The Skarner will be first picked again, almost certainly, by Jin Air GreenWings. They'll take that one away. Let's see if KT just take away the Taliyah. It's a possibility. Pawn has always been a good Taliyah player. Or if they feel like just getting a super powerful bot lane is what they want to do. My read is that KT winning a game is often on how powerful their duo lane is. If you think back to game 2 and, okay, where was each team winning and losing? The only winning lane KT had was top lane, where they had the Nara against Gangplank. That actually went the way of the Gangplank in the lane, so they kind of were losing everywhere, and the enemy had a better jungle matchup. So they just got overpowered, all things considered.
Profit Papa.
They wanted a winning bot lane. Varus Braum is about as strong as can be put together. There is still power left on the Rift. Taliyah was the duo they went with the Skarner before. Can also launch the Skarner into the backline with the Realm Warp, kind of do the impression of a Maokai with the Skarner. But for now, at least, they will leave their options open for a mid laner.
Yeah. Thinking about perhaps going towards a bot lane couple of picks there with the Taric being flashed, but perhaps just some mind games as well. Maybe draw out a ban from KT when they're not thinking about playing it. So we are going to have the Ryze picked up here for Grace this time around. It's pretty good on the champ, sitting at 2-1 overall.
Be a very early victor. We have seen one victor game so far on the LCK, but I don't think we're going to see it in this particular spot. Edge, the only person to play a victor so far. So considering picking up their support now and absorbing some AD carry bans, they will just take the Taric to go for a farm bot lane against the super powerful Varus and Braum.
Thinking about that last pick here for KT. You were mentioning some mid lanes. Not too many mid lanes banned out, just the Galio. That means the Azir still left available, so we're going to get Pawn's Azir once again.
Wave clear for days on the red side here for KT Rolster. It's a bit of a lane counter pick for the Ryze. Ryze does very well into Azir as the laning phase goes, and the 1-3-1 we always speak about could be very powerful from the side of Jin Air. Definitely going to be a different approach to the game.
So we're going to try to wake him up. Oh,
there we go. Realizes his conundrum.
Poor
Caught
guy.
on camera.
Spo TV will not take you sleeping. Wake up.
It's only game 3. We've still got a long night of games ahead of us. Still our final series, MVP versus BBQ later. Kog'Maw ban on patch 8.3 is an interesting one. It's an old favorite of Teddy, but also a champion who lost 30% of his damage on this patch, was rebuffed on patch 8.4. So very surprised to see a Kog'Maw ban. I'm inclined to think he's kind of unusable on patch 8.3.
Certainly feels that way, but we haven't seen much of it. So maybe they know something we don't. Gnar gonna also be banned out here. Gonna take that pick away from SoHwan. Maybe we'll see his Lucian once again. Still available, hasn't been banned out. If they're thinking about heading back towards what they did in game 1.
And with no Gangplank and Gnar, I think the chance of illusion is much lower. But the top lane matchup is getting closer and closer to some of the edge fun territory where we might see some new stuff. It's also getting closer and closer to Ornn versus Sion, so maybe that fan will go back to sleep if we see that one. Smeb has been talking about how much he loves playing the Swain, but I don't think we're going to be seeing Swain on patch 8.3.
Deft just teasing his teammate, the couple of them starring in our 10 questions and 10 answers, is going to be the Cho'Gath here.
Teddy Flash is a favorite of mine. I've talked to him about the Jinx before, but I think Caitlyn is most likely the way he will go in this game for lane presence. See if he obliges that. Tristana an outside chance. I do like Tristana Taric to be able to dive in during the laning phase, but might make us wait.
Okay.
And look at this. They're going to see the Trundle into the Cho'Gath to still reenact the side lane push potential coming through from SoHwan. And Caitlyn would represent the strongest possible laning duo, the Caitlyn and the Tarics are very powerful in the lanes. A 1-3-1 comp here of repute can also be played 4-1 with Ryze helping with the siege, and just the Trundle doing his best to ignore the Cho'Gath and take structures. Haven't seen the Trundle since Tal played it for SK Telecom T1 a couple of weeks ago. Different read. I thought it would just be, a standard tank top laner like the Ornn for SoHwan, but visiting the Trundle. Final pick here is a champion who was banned in game 1, looking for a jungler. The Jax would be the balanced choice. Will be able to occupy the time of the Trundle and the Caitlyn in a fight. So a very tanky lineup from the side of KT Rolster with 2 hyperscalers, the Azir in particular, as the game goes on. Jin Air are pretty flexible, 1-3-1, very powerful laning phase. The top lane Taric is a dream. They'll swap that one away. Will in fact be the Taric Caitlyn. But KT wanting a winning bot lane, first rounded the Varus and the Braum. Still very powerful, but Caitlyn Taric has plenty of power as well. So very early priority on both sides in the 2v2.
Teddy doesn't quite have the win ratio that Deft has on the Caitlyn. Deft sitting at 4-1 and Teddy at 1-2. But his KDA is at 8, and no doubt he can play this pick as well. He's going to be looking to show Deft exactly how to play the Caitlyn, or say, hey, I can play it as well. Teddy just popping off there towards the end of the Callista. Going to be looking to be a late game threat on this Caitlyn, as well as early game in the lane up against Deft. Trying to shut down that bottom duo you said was so important.
My eye is going to be on score largely this game on the Jax. Has excellent gank assists in lanes. Varus and Braum. Vasisi in the bot side. Top side is the Cho'Gath. Sort of game where I think the Jax can get a lot of work done before the Impale is available for the Skarner. But Jin Air, from the mid-game onwards, if they have a comfortable farming early game, has so many options. 1-3-1 is powerful. Siege with the Caitlyn, also powerful. Wave clear if the Caitlyn is just on defensive duty in the mid lane as things go on. So many options there. Still options for KT Rolster, but there is that inevitability of the Trundle running away with the game if they can get vision in the side lane, and Trundle hits 2 items.
Yep, going to be some more pressure on the SoHwan to do that split pushing. Let's see how it goes down, all in game number 3. Here we go, game 3. Jin Air sitting in 7th place, but still, we've seen their skill and their potential and their ability to take down big teams. We'll see if they can do it here up against KT, trying to get their revenge after going down 0-2 in the first round robin.
And they will not be swept. It will not be a 4-0 to the side of KT over the season against Jin Air. It's the final time they will meet outside of some postseason play. Still seeming like Jin Air will, frustratingly for them, be kind of on the precipice of the top 5, but not quite make it to the gauntlet. It seems like right now it's comfortably 5 teams better than Jin Air, but they're not no-hopers. They are a team, I think, on the up. They've blooded a mid laner in Grace they can build around, who has shown us again and again that I think he will be competitive in the league. It reminds me a lot of Kuzan when he started a couple of years ago as a promising mid lane talent. So summer season for Jin Air, I think, expectations will be higher than they are for spring, but spring's not over yet. There still is 8 best-of-3s for both these teams to play. over the next 4 weeks. And this one's still available to be won, and with such balanced drafts, there's a lot going on both sides to like. My instinct is that the early jungle pathing will be the big separator between Jin Air and KT in the early game.
Yeah, Jin Air definitely showing a big boost in confidence overall as a team. Their 2-0 victory over the Afrika Freaks is definitely not one to shake a stick at. And, well, we're seeing the level 1 up here. Both of these champions have a large amount of lifesteal and sustain. So they'll trade, they'll burn their pots, and then they'll both be near full health.
Both passives around regen, so likely to be uninteractive. Level 3 Skarner looking to rewrite the book. Jack's not going to be there. Jack's looking for the gank as well.
Trying to run to Jax here. See if he can do it, but the flash comes out. Nicely timed from Smeb to get out of that one. Looks like it will just be a couple of trades in flashes in the top lane.
Yeah, Score was trying to go around any wards and take the Scuttle Crab also. Surprised by how assertive the Skarner was, looking for a level 3 gank. Doesn't find anything. Jax is still here, unbeknownst to Cho'Gath.
Still has his flash.
Trundle, I should say.
2 members who still have flash are Score and SoHwan, so.
Not sure if he was in vision there. I'm going to be inclined to say no, but nice defensive ward on the foremost brush means that SoHwan will not turn. Will be taken down in this particular gank.
Sees the ward come down, and, well, SoHwan's playing way too passively. Score not going to waste any more time. We'll go back to farming.
The early levels, Cho'Gath has the advantage of when he looks for auto-attack trades against the Trundle, pushing the lane while he trades, because of course the Vorpal spikes are AoE. That's why he hit level 2 first, why he'll be pretty comfortable in the early levels before Tiamat into Ravenous Hydra is completed on the side of SoHwan. Outside chance of the Titanic Hydra as well. UmTi spotted in a ward, but Smeb
doesn't have his flash, so this isn't a possibility, but nice knock up there from Smeb saying, Score, or rather UmTi, just get away from me, and does make it out with his life.
In a while since we've seen Grasp with the Undying on both top laners, but it's going to be a lot of extended trades where the Grasp can be abused. Elsewhere, both supports running the Unsealed Spellbooks even after the nerfs. Future playmaking to look forward to. Azir nerf on this patch. Swings the lane even further to the side of Ryze, and Ryze is already doing very comfortable against Azir in lane. The longer cooldown on Q, one of the big things there to talk about.
Definitely hurts him a little bit. You'll notice that he also does get aggro in the lane, as is nicely shown by our observer, right as we're showing this one. Lots of trading down here in the bottom lane.
Trying to lane until they can get tier onto Wraith, and preferably the BF sword onto the Caitlyn. Allow them to ignore some of the damage trades. Going very well for the Varus. It's nice accuracy on the overload there. Does, winning damage trade for Grace.
Yeah, good read, and it's little trades like that can be abused more.
Oh,
and
he's
the
going
flash
for
coming in. He wants it. One more Q, but Pawn does cleanse flash away from that one. So 2 summoners for 1, and now getting aggressive down here. But TP for Mom.
Yeah, really nice attempt onto Deft. That's why they put the trap up below him, but the arm time too long to actually stop him. Flashes down in the mid lane. Also, the all-in trade happening. So Jin Air playing with their collars up. They're very confident in this game, and see UmTi turning on to Score for a damage trade.
Pawn having more mana overall, but UmTi just laughing in the face of the Jax. Trading in the mid lane, but at the end of it all, UmTi will get the better of this.
That was actually hilarious. UmTi was body blocking Score from clicking on the ward.
Yeah.
So he wasn't actually able to clear the control ward, but has to defend because Grace has given up control of mid lane. There's a lot of attitude, there's a lot of swagger about Jin Air in this game. 3 points into overload early from Grace, looking for a flash all in. Not in any way overawed by facing world champion Pawn in the mid lane. Then bot lane, the trade's going well as well. So all things considered, definitely a nice pressure lead to Jin Air GreenWings in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah. That's one thing about UmTi is that, especially in 2017, there were times where he would try to play with swagger and play really aggressive, and he'd just get caught. He'd play Lee Sin, get caught up. And
Speaking of getting caught,
Teddy might be stunned up here. He flashes early, and that's 2 flashes in the bottom lane. Going to be burned very easily here.
And at level 5 as well for both bot lanes. So the level 6 return gank is going to be pretty insane. Even the 2v2 kill here, don't see the experience bars, but I imagine we're close to level 6 on everyone involved in the bot lanes. The trade up there after Jin Air had traded up previously means that we're smack bang even, which is exactly what you want in a 3-game series between a Jin Air team on the up and a KT Rolster team looking to go 8-2 and join Kingzone at equal first in match score.
See if they can do it. The battle of the supports here. Mata, more health and more mana after TPing to lane. Wraith does have his own unsealed spellbook, but
use the Ignite to try to get the kill onto Deft, so will not be able to teleport into lane. That's why it was more important for him to stick around and help with the minion wave to mean that it isn't going to be frozen in the wrong spot. There's the tier for Taric. We all knew it was coming. Not the most exciting thing for some people to look at, but does mean the lane trades will go better and better outside of the all-in trade coming through when the ultimate's available for Varus top side.
Trying to get onto Smeb here. UmTi gonna dodge out the Q, not even needing to use the Impale, and first blood under the turret. Just a bit of help from UmTi to secure the kill.
And the pillar spot was great because there was nowhere for him to flash to. It would have flashed into the turret rather than being able to open up enough distance to get away. Like you say, UmTi doesn't have to use the Impale, so even more incentivized to counter jungle. Look for the enemy red buff. Really nice heads-up stuff on the Trundle from SoHwan. Sets Smeb further behind, sets the score behind when it comes to the red buff, and means that UmTi still has big gank presence, flash, and Impale available for the next attempt. See, we watch the replay here. Skarner's already showing in our mini-map really like the positioning of the pillar. Nowhere to go, no reason to flash, would have died anyway. I think summoners with the Skarner might have been decent just to stop the flash Impale from being an impact in other lanes, but rinse and repeat can happen, and a nice little kill starts the Ravenous Hydra getting closer and closer for SoHwan.
UmTi looking good on the Skarner so far. And he's trying to be engaged upon here by Pawn, but Pawn not quite able to close the gap. Skarner quite fast. Yeah, he's a little bit ahead of score here in terms of farm, and also does have the assist up in the top lane. It's nice to see, just to finish my earlier point, the junglers such as UmTi who start off fresh and kind of get caught out, but eventually play with swagger and are not afraid to fight in the face. Going to take away the blasting plant here. Would force Score to use a ward if he wants to hop that wall, but in the end, not able to do much.
Yeah, UmTi was judging on whether he had his bot lane rotating first. The answer was no. Deft and Mata were on the invade. 2 control wards invested bot side, so no harm, no foul. They'll back away, and I love the point about UmTi. From the moment he came into competitive play in Casper Cup, end of 2016, he looked like he had something about him. He and Teddy were the new players then. That doesn't look good.
Pawn actually gets locked down before he can make the entire play. Good heads up there by Grace.
Pawn's had a couple of moments like that on the Azir.
Yeah.
Was able to take it late game against SK Telecom T1, but the laning phase against FLICKR on the Azir wasn't fantastic. Despite the, let's call it fluff in the mid lane, KT does turn onto the Infernal.
Yeah, it looks like Jin Air just a little bit too slow to get there. Good vision control, 2 control wards in position to deny much vision around the area.
Grace looking for the roam top side. Probably going to be rush of the Abyssal Mask here. SoHwan, it's one of the things that Trundle has been buffed through the runes changing. He's happy to go into the Grasp in a melee matchup. The Demolish to complement the fact that his Q was changed long ago to actually proc on turrets makes him an insanely fast turret pusher. So he's able to proxy, holding the minion wave. He does even more turret damage than before because tanks who go into the Resolve tree have access to that Demolish. So the 4-1 split pusher, who was always one of the best against tanks, only got stronger with the new rune set being released.
Yeah,
Smeb really would like to visit a minion wave.
He doesn't really get to. Even the cheeky pillar towards the end going to deny him the gold in the last 2 minions. And, well, after that bit of fluff in the mid lane, Grace winning his lane. You said it was a strong one, but Grace really performing today overall.
Yeah, we saw the Trundle into the Ornn in Tal's game, and Ornn was actually winning trades pretty heavily. Cho'Gath not able to do that, just range farming with the Q here. Smeb, that's always a good sign when at level 8 you don't feel like you can walk up to the minion wave, that things have gone really bad for the Cho'Gath. Skarner intelligently jungling top side, where his team is strongest. Now, 30 CS or so is the lead for the Trundle, who will have Ravenous Hydra on the next back, and is going to walk over confirm the Rift Herald. Things going from better to better for Jin Air GreenWings.
Yeah, they're putting so much pressure, not just in the top lane, but winning mid lane by a severe margin. They're going to get the Rift Herald now. They're going to be able to snowball this game so fast. Just on the back of a couple of great laning performances out of, I'd say, 3 members, including UmTi, into a bit of the top lane as well.
And it feels like a bit of a failure in draft because KT had the chance to counterpick for top lane, but chose to counterpick for jungle when they already had the jungle confirmed. So the Jax was the final pick. They could have just held on, not allowed Trundle to be drafted. You wouldn't have seen a blind Trundle against Smeb, someone we know very well can play carries alongside his more recent inclination to go for the tanks. So KT feels like they got very little value out of the second round. Jin Air have massive value. They've solo in the 1v1 been able to take turret in 11 minutes, even without much jungle attention. So Jin Air GreenWings did outdraft, especially in that particular regard, around the top side. Top side was where they're also getting the leads. They can stop any Drake stacking happening from KT. It's only good news stories in this game for Jin Air GreenWings.
Fortunately for Jin Air, the next Drake is going to be Cloud, so they can't really, you know, pick up a Infernal, or even a Mountain would be nice to rush down a Baron or something with all the map control that they have. SoHwan is just making this a literal nightmare for Smeb up on the top side, who
and let's do a bit of a history lesson. The first time these two teams faced, game 1, it was Smeb on Maokai going 0-6 in lane in a victory. It ended up being a 2-0 for KT because Maokai can just build a Righteous Glory, teleport in and be Maokai. Cho'Gath can't do that. Cho'Gath needs items. His gank assist when he teleports in is situational at best, Valdez. He needs to wait for a 3.5, 4-second teleport, then hit a rupture with a delay, so it's not as reliable. You can't play Cho'Gath like you play Maokai as bot lane.
Oh, they're going on in. That arm time just barely gets there, but look at Score coming from the river. That's going to be a dead Teddy, getting way too aggressive in the lane, and the double kill goes over to Deft. No respect down there. They get punished for it.
Yeah, no advanced vision in the 2v2, able to get most of the work done. Summoners up for Jin Air, but locked up the entire time. Big stuff for KT Rolster. Trying to threaten a dive on mid lane, but SoHwan is still something they have to deal with in the top side.
And not just SoHwan, it's UmTi making another return here. They want to pull this turret down, even UmTi grabbing the turret aggro to make sure they get that as fast as possible. The TP now from Wraith to secure their own turret in the bottom side.
KT desperately want this turret so they can actually try to find a lane assignment where they don't have Cho'Gath against the Trundle as mid lane.
Doesn't fail this time, and now he's got 2 members to help him out. That Realm Warp is not going to be on time. A little bit late on that one. Either way, 3 against 1, and Pawn will not fail a second time.
Bit of map watching from Jin Air. They did not need to allow themselves to be opened up in that manner. They've been ganked now in the bot lane with no vision, and in the mid lane, stacking victories around the Trundle, but now other areas being just a little bit less attentive to the map than they should be. They'll return to bot lane. They still have the flash on Teddy, but it should have been cleaner from Jin Air, and it's leaving opportunities and openings for KT to stay competitive in the gold race.
Let's see where SoHwan goes from here. He's already taken down the 2 turrets up on the top side, but he's going to return and respond to the Cho'Gath, who continues pushing. No swap just yet. The 2 bottom turrets still available.
I mean, Cho'Gath's just boned in the 1v1. He's against a Ravenous Hydra, Merc Treads, and Spectre's Cow Trundle. He cannot reach the minion wave to try to push it, so nothing Cho'Gath can do. Cannot really enter lane against the Trundle. What either need is jungler to camp him or some roams to come and help him out. But the ability to rotate the bot lane to try to face the Trundle, if you're trying to do that, if you're always trying to react to the enemy's lane assignments, you're always going to be a bit behind the play. You're going to lose CS even where you're strong. So they don't feel the availability to actually send the bot lane against the Trundle. And you can see Cho'Gath's roaming. They're trying to make a team fight happen where the Trundle isn't.
Well, this Rift Herald was put down in the lane, probably was about to expire there for UmTi, so a measly, 1/5 of the health of the mid turret's
Everyone's
damage.
on vision except the Cho'Gath, so SoHwan's like, I'm just going to keep pushing, guys.
Might as well. I mean, this is kind of that solo queue feel where your top laner just gets destroyed, and then you're like, well, I guess we're about to lose our inhibitor turret. We have to respond to this, guys. An immense amount of pressure up in the top side as even Pawn begins to edge his way over.
This is definitely a thing where you're a bot lane on the side of KT. You know, it's a solo queue game, and then suddenly your inhibitor was split pushed while you were still laning. You're like, guys, I still have my turret. Like, what happened here? We got to see what happened there. It was bad news.
Oh, the flash coming in.
Nice
timing there on the stopwatch. Will it matter, though? The Cosmic Radiance gets super close, but not enough. He gets tunked down, rather, towards the end. And now it looks like Taric is going to pay for it, too. Jin Air just falling apart at the seams. They were looking so good early on, but this game is running away from them now.
And they need to make these picks work because they have no way to answer the Trundle. The Trundle can't do it. He's just taking the wolves because he's not going to be able to stop 4 members from pushing in while this minion wave is alive. KT steep on the turret. Now they have a long lane in the mid lane. Amazing that they've been able to pick up so much gold, but small mistake after small mistake is being attacked by KT Rolster, now with a gold lead in a game that was looking like they had no good decisions to make with how far ahead the Trundle was in top.
2-0-1 Azir and 3-0-1 Varus right now for KT. Even though the gold score looks even up in the top on the scoreboard, it's really that massive win that Trundle has got in the top lane, but everywhere else, KT having a really fun time in this game so far.
Now it really is a game of lane assignment. How do they get value out of Trundle where mid lane can be pushed all the way to the inhibitor turret pre-20 minutes? They are going to take an Ocean Drake, but KT is going to be, sorry, a Cloud Drake, but of course KT is happy to surrender that. Another Cloud means they don't have to play to the top side. Cho'Gath, after all of this, is going to be able to roam and get kills. Pawn follows, but very nice stopwatch comes out from Grace. With Varus rotating first, Caitlyn in the bot lane pushing up, static shift Caitlyn trying to take down objectives. Cho'Gath joins the party, and Trundle, the person who holds all the gold, the person who Jin Air wants to be deciding this game, was nowhere to be found because, of course, it's Trundle. He needs the rest of his team to be playing heads up and respectful, and he's not getting that out of the other 4 members of Jin Air.
Well, let's see what Jin Air wants to do off the back of this one. We're only 19 minutes into the game, but I feel like this has been one of the most action-packed we've had so far. Only 6 kills, but so much has happened. 4 turrets on the map already taken out, but still the bottom tier 1s left available for both sides.
Yeah, bot lane returns. We might see 2-item. Caitlyn still in the laning phase, which is very, very rare. Trundle now has to push into areas where he doesn't have control, where he knows there are fed enemy members who can potentially turn on him. The 0 Varus are missing. They certainly constitute as fed at this point in the game. KT continues to push up. Baron will spawn soon. So much has happened this game before Baron has even spawned. Jin Air in some ways in control of it. It's pretty comical seeing them just follow each other. Still trying to split push that inhibitor, Valdez.
Yeah. I can just imagine Twitch chat spamming some work as SoHwan pushes down the lane non-stop.
Every time the enemy shows in a ward, though, he has to back away. So if you think about it, you follow what happened. It was comical, but Trundle killed a minion wave, pushed it, and then Cho'Gath ate it. So he was not actually gaining anything from that apart from just the inherent pressure of being involved so aggressively in the top side. Never want to trade farm when you're ahead. Cho'Gath, 60 behind. He's going to have to take that for now. 50, 40, 30. He can close the gap because Trundle will eventually be dragged to the rest of the map where his team is losing out in terms of gold.
20 minutes in, and we're already having Baron contested here. They're going to start it.
They're going for 2-man Baron.
Now, this...
They don't know about it yet.
The Scuttle Crab has vision, but they went over the wall, so they can't
know about
see
it now.
this.
It's too late.
Goes in. It definitely is too late, just as you're saying. There's nothing they can do, and that's essentially a free Baron. Nice heads-up play there by KT, knowing they can pick that up.
Yeah, playing around Scuttle Vision is always something interesting. You think you're safe when the Scuttle Crab is controlled. You're able to pop over the back. You are not. Huge damage coming from Pawn and Deft at this point in the game. Baron is now spawned, and split pushing against Baron, basically impossible. He'd already split pushed everything he could in the top side. Jin Air will wonder how this game fell through their fingers. We could see too many people walking up. When you're winning in one area of the map, the rest of the map has to stand accountable because, okay, Trundle's beating Cho'Gath. Where's the Jax? What is the counterplay going to be by KT Rolster? The counterplay registered true 1, 2, 3 times in the mid game, and now the Trundle may be trivialized because it's going to have to be a team fight Trundle with KT controlling the Baron buff.
Especially team fight Trundle against all of the just CC that KT has. It's not just Cho'Gath, but Jax right in your face. You got Azir pushing you back, poking, can even Emperors divide you away from your team. You have double CC bottom lane. It's just not any fun, as you're saying. It's a very sad game for SoHwan, who feels like he's also in solo queue, destroying his lane, and then everybody else starts to feed, and he's like, what the hell, guys? I was destroying my lane. Now what do? I'm Trundle.
So on this season, Ornn, Gnar, and Vladimir. And Vladimir, similar to the Trundle when it comes to lane presence in matchups against Gangplank, but has the backup team fighting, especially in a game like this, as you've so succinctly pointed out. There isn't really backup team fighting for the Trundle. He needs to be used in a side lane. He's going to show up in a side lane now. He's still more powerful than Smeb, but kill pressure, lane's not long enough to actually get that.
Yeah.
That's the struggle for Jin Air, is they haven't really played a SoHwan split push style. He may be a Riven 1 trick in history, but they have not actually played him in those sort of matchups. They don't seem practiced on how to win games when it's not Teddy that's fed, it's not Grace on a global. It's all about SoHwan in this game. But unfortunately, they didn't actually index in SoHwan properly, and now it may feel like SoHwan is irrelevant to the eventual winners of the game.
Yeah. And when you have a long season like you do in any LCK season, you begin to see the little mistakes that Jin Air makes and begin to realize, you know, they show so much potential and very skilled young members in their lineup, but the consistency sometimes is not there. You get ahead in a game like this, and then a couple of mistakes that a more top-tier team would not make, and it's just lights out from here on out when you're up against a team like KT. They take those 2 opportunities, and they're like, thank you very much. Doesn't really matter if Smeb's behind on the Cho'Gath.
Definitely a fruitful VOD review. Very clear the mistakes they made in both bot lane and mid lane that can be corrected, but not to the tune of a match victory against KT, which of course would have been a really big one for the season of Jin Air, who are not mathematically eliminated. No one is from playoffs just yet. 5,000 gold behind. Trundle on defensive duty, getting zoned away from turrets. This is definitely very cathartic for Cho'Gath, walking up, actually getting demolished proc off of his own.
Finally.
AT will back away. Drake becomes an easy objective. Basically, every objective on the map is easy right now for KT Rolster because there's no 5v5 at these item spikes that Jin Air wins.
Yep, they just got to wait. I mean, they have some pretty good wave clear on the Caitlyn. And that's about it. Ryze not half bad, but Skarner, Taric, pretty not so good in that factor. But they just got to sit back, turtle, get some more items, and allow KT to get whatever objectives they want. Thankfully for them, it was just a Cloud Drake for KT, not the best.
Send Ryze to the top side. Very, very low damage at this point. Only the Ceres and a Fiendish Codex outside of the Magic Resist core. Meanwhile, Pawn is fearsome. Going to be Void Staff on the next back and then be team fight ready to go. And Smeb may actually get out of laning phase. 0-6 in one game, and now 0-1 and 50 CS down on the Cho'Gath and win anyway. So something's going right for Smeb.
Yeah, it was just that little bit of focus earlier on in the game, but after SoHwan, I mean, it's Trundle versus Cho'Gath in a pretty long lane, so they didn't really need to help him out. They got an extra turret, but that was about it. So there wasn't any more dives. They didn't keep the turret alive for a long time, and so Smeb doesn't die too much. But hey, he's got a couple items. Got that Bramble Vest up against the Trundle. Gathering Storm on the 280 carries. Seems like this is pretty common in 8.3.
Grace not taking it in mid lane. I wonder what he took instead. You would have to assume Scorch. But not opting into it when Scorch himself and secondary into pick up the presence of mind. So that's pretty standard stuff on the Azir. There is the Void Staff completed for Azir. That's really scary. Now even Ryze can be cut through where he stands. Bot lane, we're seeing KT push up around the Cho'Gath for the first time in a while. Deft may just serve to be an initiator in this next fight.
they're pushing control ward by control ward, trying to 2v1 on the Trundle. Looks like it would be a hard task either way because the Trundle, has the Warden's Mail, is sitting on some decent tanky items, isn't just going to burn away up against the Varus.
And also there's the question of why is Varus not in a lane? Because AD carries are always the ones commanding farms, so every time an AD carry is missing in 3 lanes, then you can be sure that something fishy is going on. No way for that to be a wall pulled over the eyes there for Deft, who now returns to the mid lane. And I guess the win condition becomes Teddy hitting 6 items, because 6-item Caitlyn could still be a way that things get better for the side of Jin Air.
Yeah, it's very clear that Jin Air, after their mistakes, are like, okay, guys, let's take it slow. Let's just clear waves. Try not to bleed out too much up against KT. There's not much else to bleed as all the outer turrets are down.
No real way to play. All they can do is have Trundle push up as respectfully as possible, which ends up being around the line of his Krugs. Back away, so Cho'Gath won't be able to usher in a 3rd minion wave to the bot side. The rest of the entirety of the map is controlled by KT. Very aggressive use of the Sun Turret, and a Baron to fall back on in less than 20 seconds.
Yeah, looks like Pawn will just make this very short, push it on in as much as possible. That Cho'Gath is getting quite large as time goes on.
Getting to the point where you can just Feral Scream and Feast on a carry and basically one-shot them. Must be nice.
Yeah.
No vision has ever been pushed this far by Jin Air, so they have no idea what health the Baron is on. We know it's still over 8,000.
Looking to make a stand here, though, which is quite interesting. We're going to have the Trundle locked up here, but actually they have Smeb stand on a trap, score in the front, trying to take out Grace in this one, but you can see the Trundle not really able to do much. The double knock-up in here, finally, KT finds something, but a double flash gets Jin Air out of dodge in that fight. Not quite able to land a kill and go to the Baron just yet.
Teddy was using the terrain to actually try to fight front to back. He wasn't actually fully investing himself, trying to be safe as possible. End result is he keeps his flash up. They're able to do enough damage to really slow down the Baron start. Here comes the commit. Remember the Cosmic Radiance down, so difficult for Jin Air to actually rush in.
We got Cho'Gath behind. We've seen this before. Kind of an awkward spot now is he is going to be spotted on the minions.
He's going to be looking for Grace.
Look at Teddy, though, on the right side. He gets the knock-up. This might just be it. It looks like he's not going to do it just yet. There it is, finally the feast, and that's going to be enough to take him out. Double kill for Pawn as well. And even the kill scorer takes down Teddy, so they get the TP from behind. Very nicely played by KT.
Yeah, tunnel vision coming through from Teddy. Wanted to focus on the fight. Smeb from the backside. That's just what Cho'Gath can do. Baron will go the way of KT Rolster. It was a deep teleport, but a smart one, because by the time he had information that the Cho'Gath was around, there were no good decisions left for Teddy.
Nicely done by Smeb. Another teleport play for the books of Smeb.
Now he's seen on the vision line, so Teddy should be actually respected as he puts down the trap. He tries to net over, but the rupture had already been cast, so it's a bit rusty there on the mechanics from Teddy. Uncharacteristic from him. He goes down. So do the hopes of Jin Air contesting the Baron. We may be focused on SoHwan pushing up, but this is KT looking to break the base with their 2nd Baron buff.
It's interesting that they make a stand there as well with all of the teleport wards and the opportunities that KT had to get into that back line, but they did not want to let the 2nd Baron go over and potentially lose a couple of inhibitors, but they let it go anyway, and now they're in a spot where 2.5 minutes are left, and KT is 9,000 gold ahead. Looks like they're going to pick up a 2nd Infernal before they go for a push. But once they start that push, it's really just going to be up to Teddy to try to clear as many waves as possible, and again, just not to die. Seems like the strategy for Jin Air doesn't change much after that last fight.
Yeah, they felt strong enough to actually walk up and contest the Baron. It took an entire investment and 2 people die. Now it's back to, well, we can kill the minions pushing in to our inhibitor turrets and no more. They still will look to back Teddy at 6 items. Try to impact these fights, but Cosmic Radiance will have to be on point. The Trundle will have to be peeling for the Caitlyn as the game goes on. Still an outside chance. That's the most likely way they win, but loss minimization kind of been the Jin Air game plan ever since the rest of the map fell behind what SoHwan was trying to do. Still the trap line and the Caitlyn wave clear makes them pretty good at delaying.
I I mean, even that pillar makes things so obnoxious for the side of Jin Air up against KT. Really good at zoning individual, or even multiple members in this case, away from that turret. But this time around, it's going to be too much. First inhibitor turret will fall, and most likely this inhibitor, as Jin Air just going to give this one away. But actually, KT, they want to get in there. They just delete him off the map. See you later, Teddy. You're not in this game anymore. And after a play like that, Deft showing up big once again. They're going to push into the base.
Yeah, shades on from Deft. He gets the pick that will end the game. They try to go for the emergency fight, but I think it's over.
A nice grab there onto Pawn, who does try to get away and actually does make it out here. KT playing with their food at this point. Jin Air had to make a last stand. It's not going to go too well. A double kill going to be gifted over to Deft at the end of it all. And KT make this one a short one. 32 minutes to end the series.
Never to be overshadowed. Really nice move, reminiscent of Roller's pick onto FLICKR in Game 3 of the World Final. Deft finds his man. Teddy deleted. Game over for Jin Air. Jin Air will wonder, this was a game that was very clearly in their control when SoHwan was zoning the Cho'Gath away from minion wave after minion wave, taking turrets early. But KT reacted on this other side of the map because Jin Air got a little bit undisciplined. They pushed up too far. They didn't play respectful. When you know where your bread is buttered, when you know who the carry is, everyone else needs to drop back. That didn't happen. They gave away too many kills, and eventually the Trundle was just an onlooker as KT Rolster does end up beating Jin Air in this fun best of 3.
Yeah, it's certainly games like this, as you mentioned before, you can go back to the drawing board and learn a lot for Jin Air, because it's also games like this that show very easily to everybody that's watching why KT is on top and why Jin Air, although they have a lot of potential and they've shown some fantastic games up against top teams, sometimes they play games like this and you wonder, where is this team exactly? What Jin Air are we looking at today? It's not consistency on the cards for Jin Air tonight.
So we should mention that KT Rolster did trip up in trying to take down Jin Air. There was still a loss in this series. If you sit back and say, who was the best performing team in Week 5 of the LCK, you'll be surprised to find that you'd have to say, on balance, it was SK Telecom T1 going 4-0 and looking convincing in all of their games. We're going to see the replay here. Deft walking up, getting deleted onto Teddy. It was actually Pawn who picked up the kill, but KT able to finish the game in that single passage. All the teams at the top tripping up means that the middle of the pack suddenly has to unlock into the playoffs. Very, very interesting series here with Jin Air. Heroic defeats is never something you want to talk about when you're still in mathematical competition for the top 5. But Jin Air fall down, and their playoff hopes get a little bit slimmer.
That they do. I feel like that was the 3rd or 4th Cosmic Radiance as well in that game. That was just a little bit too late. And, well, when you're the one playing passively and reactionary against players like Deft, sometimes you're going to have a hard time, just as we saw. So let's take a look at the game facts here. 32 minutes. Pretty quick one here for KT. Only 1 kill, 2 towers, and a Cloud Drake for Jin Air.
I fed Trundle, but that was all they had to really show for themselves. KT getting the ganks in the bot side, the double kill early into the kill on mid laner. Then suddenly the winning lane was isolated. Suddenly the Trundle could no longer split push. KT eventually taking it in comfortable fashion at the nice and early 32-minute mark.
Yep, nicely done by them. Gonna solidify another win on the scoreboard. Curious to see who the MVP is going to be of this one. Could definitely look at Pawn or Deft for this one.
Or not Smeb.
Not Smeb, no. Sorry, Smeb. Definitely not you. He did his job, though. It was a nice TP, even playing from behind. Not the first time he's had to do that.
How would you describe
the damage up against Trundle somehow?
How would you describe his job this game?
I mean,
what was his laning assignment, Valdez, that he did quite well in?
Try not to die. He only died once, right? So you got to give that to him. Unfortunately, he was the only death, the only kill on the side for Jin Air.
He did his shot calling, I guess, is what Smeb will say is the primary shot caller for KT Rolster. KT do end up 8-2, 3 games behind Kingzone Dragon X, I believe, after the 2-1 victory. So still work to be done there. The KT Rolster fans will continue to be optimistic that this might be their season. They've said it, what was it, 6 times before. What's another one?
Well, I feel like this is definitely one of their most dominant seasons they've had so far. The team definitely coming together as a whole. not really making too many mistakes. Deft is making more plays rather than plays for the enemy team, so that's always nice to see. See if he can keep that up heading into playoffs eventually.
MVP voting faithful have a difficult pickle on their hands. I imagine that's why we're taking a little bit of time to work out exactly who the MVP is in this game. You'd be tempted to give it to the Azir, but after a couple of streamer shuffles went wide.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see what they decide, and why not Deft? Pulling off his best ruler impression, flashing in, getting the critical pick, allowing the game to end. Deft has been super consistent, and guess what, Valdez? He is now #1 in the MVP rankings, overtaking Tucson. They were equal before, and now Deft stands alone.
At the top it says 700 kills and 700 points, of course MVP points. So he takes the lead as you were mentioning. Not a single single death as he takes the MVP there. So I'll hand it over to the interview with Ji-sun for the translation.
관리한다면 커다란 수확을 얻을 수 있을 텐데요. 오늘 승리를 이끈 마타 선수 그리고 데프트 선수가 여러분 기다리고 있습니다. 함께 만나보시죠.
자, 이렇게 해서 깜짝 놀랐네. 깜짝 놀랐네요. 우리 친구를 만났네요. 자, 오늘
So please welcome Mata and Deft from KT Rolster. It was a great performance.
MVP를 받은 이 두 명의 선수 여러분의 박수 함께 만나보겠습니다.
Please give it all to the players.
감사합니다.
Congratulations.
아니 깜짝 놀랐네요. 왜 갑자기 그러니까 경기 전에 뽀뽀하려고 그래요? 아니죠.
You're standing really close to me right now, so that kind of surprised me. And today you performed really well.
먼저 경기 승리 소감.
So how do you feel on today's victory?
먼저 마타 선수부터.
일단 1경기가 잘 풀려가지고 2경기도 좀 자신감 있는
Well, I think we had some clean game in the first one, but it didn't work out that well in the second game. So we are kind of depressed. And the third one was also very tricky, but I'm really happy that we won the game.
1세트 끝나고 난 뒤에 2세트, 그다음에 3세트까지 왔는데 오늘 경기는 어땠어요?
Then how was today's match, Deft?
2세트에 좀 고생을 하긴 했는데 그래도
Yeah, we had some struggles in the game too, but I think the third one went as we planned. So,
마지막 경기가 중요하니까.
and the last one is always the one that matters. So I feel really good.
오늘 사실상 뭐 본인은 어떻게 생각했는지 모르겠는데 많은 팬들 같은 경우는 최근에 폼들 정말 좋은 두 명의 원딜이 좀 붙는 장면이 있다. 그래서
Well, a lot of fans were so excited about seeing a match between you and Teddy, those who are performing so well nowadays as a AD carry. So how was your match against Teddy?
뭐 최근에 테디 선수가 굉장히 잘 하시고 해서
네.
I think Teddy is recently performing really well, so I was a little bit nervous.
두 번째 세트에 펜타킬을 하시더라고요.
And he took pentakill in the game too, so I was a little bit sad.
마지막 경기에 이겨서
But I'm just happy that we won the last one and we won the game for today.
어땠어요?
그냥 기가 팍 죽어 있어가지고
Well, yeah, I felt Deft really depressed, so I told him that it's all okay.
굉장히 그 승부욕 엄청 세고 은근히 소관이 굉장히 남성적인 면이 많다는 좀 얘기를 들었거든요. 이렇게 기운이 약간 꺾였을 때는 좀 무슨 도움을 주시나요?
And what kind of help did you give to Deft when he is kind of
입에
depressed?
발린 말이지만은 그래도 괜찮다고 이제 다음
I just say it's okay. Like let's just prepare for the next game.
아니,
But it doesn't really help me.
안 나지만 시간하니까 이런 얘기를 할 수 있었던 것 같은데 지금 승점 3점 차이로 KT가 2위입니다.
So you guys are 3 points away from the first place and placing in the second.
이제 드디어 완전 이번엔 정말 KT가 제대로 일 내겠구나
And people are having so many high expectations on you guys.
올라오고 있는데 현재 어떻습니다? 이 기운 2라운드까지 쭉 이어질 것 같습니까?
What are your comments?
일단 작년이랑 같이 이제 기대해 주시는 분들이 많아가지고
Yeah, just like last year, I know a lot of people are hyped about us, but we kind of make some mistakes. So we're gonna try to get some more consistent performance in the late
오늘 이런
games.
말씀드리면 본인이 보냈으니까 본인이 뽑은 그 대표 선수가 뽑았던 대포 타임이요.
And what was the biggest mistake from today?
일단 1세트에 제가
Well, in the first
적
set,
진영으로 플래시로 넘어가고
well, I flashed into the enemy
아이고 요거는
players, so it was a really big mistake.
지금 보시는 바와 같이 실시간 브레이킹 뉴스가 나오고 있어요.
So here's a breaking news. Deft is depressed from Teddy's pentakill.
그거 외에도 오늘 1세트는 정말 마타 선수가 모든 걸 만들었다고 해도 과언이
In
아니고
the first set, I think Mata, you really made all the games. You had 100% kill participation.
완전 달려버리는 멋진 장면들까지 많이 보여줬었거든요. 컨디션은 날아다니던데
So,
어떻습니까? 연습 상황처럼 잘 풀린 겁니다.
how are the practice going?
이제 연습 상황에서는 제가 너무 이제 많이 던져가지고
Well, during the practices, I actually kind of throw a lot, so I think it was lucky that I didn't die, and I actually managed to survive in the very low health. So yeah, I think I was lucky today.
준비했습니다.
Then let's check out some highlights.
최고의 플레이 장면인데요. 기억나시나요, 이 장면?
Do you remember this?
네, 어느 정도 기억나는 것 같아요.
진짜 진해가 블루로스 위쪽으로 올라가는 장면들이 있었고 여기서도 이제 역습하는 그런 장면들이 있었죠.
네.
And there was a really great counter attack
그리고
from KT
이쪽에서 딱
Rolster.
정리하면서 마타 선수가 아래쪽으로 이제 파고드는 그런 장면들이 있었는데요.
저 죽는 줄 알았어요.
Well, I actually thought I was gonna die there,
이거
but
외에도
well, it was
아슬아슬하게
lucky.
빠져나가는 장면들이 많았었는데 이때 진입하는 타이밍에 대한 콜들은 주로 누가?
Then who make the shot calls
다 같이
for the team
보는데
fight?
이제 스맵 선수나 이제
Well, everyone does, but mostly Score and Smeb,
뒤에서 보는 거.
and I kind of add on to that.
일단은 주로 이제 봐주는 선수도 있고 약간 세밀한 부분에 있어서 이제 마타 선수가 해주는 그런 장면이 있다는 건데 뎁 선수는 어땠어요? 그 3세트의 승리를 잡았었을 때 사실
Then Deft,
1세트도 막
how do you
어마어마한 장면들이 많이
feel
나오긴 했는데
after the
3세트는 어땠어요?
game
본인이
3?
만족하는
How was the game
장면들?
3?
저는 일단
Are you
처음에
satisfied?
바텀에서 킬이 나왔을 때부터 뭔가 그때부터 좀
Well, I had some good feelings when we had kills in the bot lane in the early
그런
games.
장면들이 있었고 그 다음에도 또 좋은 장면들이 많이 있었던 것 같고.
Is there any other plays that you want to mention that you're satisfied with?
전에 마지막에 케이틀린
Well, in the end, I got Caitlyn, so I think I'm kind of like that.
3세트 장면인데요.
So these are the highlights from the third game.
그렇죠?
네네네.
Is this the one you
네, 이
mentioned?
장면 좋았고 스코
Yes,
선수
it
오기
is.
전에 이미 어느 정도 좀 정리가 되는 그런 장면이 있었죠. 그리고 이거죠.
And is this the one that you mentioned?
맞죠?
Yeah, this is the one that I landed my ult on Caitlyn's.
끝났을 것 같긴 한데
Well, I think it doesn't really like had a great influence on the game, but I'm really satisfied with
멋있었어요?
it.
일단 그 1, 3세트 중에서 더 잘했다고 생각하는 거는 역시 3세트인가요 그러면은 본인은?
And
네,
which
1세트는 아무래도
which set do you think you performed better?
실수도 좀 나온 것 같아서
I think I made some mistake in the first one, so I made a perfect game in the third one. So yeah, I would say third set is my
총합 700
has the best place.
700포인트로 MVP씩 딱 위로 한번 딱 찍었습니다. 사실
And Deft, right now you have 700 kills in LCK and also 700 MVP points.
조곤조곤하게 말씀을 하시거나 약간 이렇게 말수가 이게 적은 모습 때문에 상대적으로 막 화려한 막 이런 얘기는 없었잖아요. 근데 이번에는 정말 화려한
Oh,
얘기가
it's a really
돋보였거든요.
meaningful
욕심이
stats.
남만한데요, MVP.
Is there anything you want to say?
어떻습니까?
Aren't you trying to get the most MVP of the split?
우승이 제일 중요해서
What really matters is winning the series. So yeah, I'm not really that interested in MVP points.
MVP와 더불어서 우승까지 가까이 가지 않을까라는 생각이 드는데요. 사실 오늘 두 명의 선수도 멋진 장면들을 많이 보여주셨습니다만 역시 멋진 존재 자체로 멋진 선수 한 명 있는 거 아니겠습니까?
Well, you two guys did perform really well, but there is another person that we want to mention because Score has his 6-year anniversary in LCK. So we're just trying to celebrate together.
모셔왔습니다. 어이, 축하드려요.
Congratulations, Score, for your 6-year anniversary in LCK.
경축이에요. 2012년도 LCK 미안합니다. 이렇게 나갈 줄 몰랐어요. LCK 데뷔한 이후로
So since 2012, you had more than 400 games in LCK. How do you feel?
마이크 3개 쓰세요.
소감이요?
네.
무슨 소감?
지금 현재 그 소감.
So how do you feel? It's your 6-year anniversary.
어느덧 6주년까지 오게 될 줄은 상상도 못했는데
Well, I guess it has been a long time,
7, 8년
but I'm looking forward to making it to 7th and 8th year of my career.
그때까지도 많은 응원
So
꼭
please
부탁드리기
cheer
바랍니다.
cheer for me. Thank you.
지금도 이게 팬 여러분들께서 굉장히 많은데 6주년 기념으로 뭔가 포즈 없습니까? 6주년인데 지금 사실상
Is there anything you wanna
좀 바라보고 있거든요.
say or show to your fans celebrating your anniversary?
하나. 이야! 존재감으로 뛰어나. 지금 스코 선수가 지금 막 조냐를 쓴 그런 장면들, 소식을 썼던 그런
So
장면을
it was a cute little pose from Score.
자, 그래서 이제 세 선수에게 이제 공통적으로 좀 질문을
So,
드려야 될
and I
것
want to
같은데
ask all of you three guys.
이제 2라운드
You guys are having game against Rocks Tigers.
네. 이제 다음 경기 이제 락스 경기를 좀 기다리고 있고 지금 출발도 굉장히 좋게 밟았기 때문에
And you guys just had a great start for the second round robin. So,
막 약간 도깨비 같은 경기력을 좀 보여주고 있으니까 거기에 대한 대응이 좀 필요할 것 같아요.
any last words for your upcoming match?
락스를 대처하는 그 마음 자세라든지 준비.
일단 모든 팀 상대할 때는 다 이길 거라고 준비하고
We
또
always try to win
락스가
all the
요즘 기세가
opponents,
굉장히 좋은데
but I
저희도
know Rocks
저희가
is
더
performing well.
기세가
So,
좋은 것 같아서
but at the same time, I think we are also performing really well. So we're gonna practice hard to win the next game.
잔잔하지만 자신감 넘치는 그런 멘트가 들어갔고요. 마타 선수에게는 이런 좀 부탁을 드릴게요. 오늘 사실 마타
마타.
선수가 은근히 굉장히 친근감이 많은 선수인데 은근히 팬 여러분들께서 어렵다고 느끼시는 분들이 좀 계시더라고요.
Well, is there any message you want to tell your fans?
그러지 마시라고 친감 있는 마타 선수가 팬 여러분께 한 말씀 해주신다면요?
제가 좀 뭐 키보드도 부시고 뭐 이런 말을 많이 들었어요.
Well,
네.
I sometimes
그런 것
rage
때문에
while
하나하나
playing
때문에 이제
games.
이미지가 약간 좀
So maybe my
센티해 약간
fans
이런
don't
느낌이 나는데
feel comfortable with
오늘 좀
me,
친근감
but
있게 약간 대하는
you know, I want to
편이고,
get closer
네.
to them.
누구든 친해졌으면 좋겠습니다.
Yeah,
그리고
so thank you for
키보드를
all the
부순다고
support.
하는데 사실 말이 안 되는 거죠. 제 손이 부러질 텐데.
Well, some people even think that I sometimes broke my keyboards because of raging so hard, but it's a rumor I would like to say. And yeah, thank you for the support, and I want to be closer with my fans.
게임 산업을 넓게 바라보는 건 과정이라고 생각하시면 좋을 것 같고요. 자, 그리고
And lastly, Score.
이제 정말 든든한 경험치를 가지고 있는 팀의 그 주도리자.
So you are the most important player of your team and LCK. So is there anything you want to say to your fans?
이제 퐁당퐁당으로 이틀 간격으로 계속 있는데
Well, we're gonna have a lot of matches from now on, so
조금 힘들지만
it will be hard for us to practice all the matches, but we're gonna make sure to do our best to our upcoming matches.
그리고 저 6주년을 챙겨주신 저희 팬분들께
And I would like to thank my fans for celebrating my 6th-year anniversary. Thank you.
고맙습니다. 이렇게 해서 스코어 선수 이야기까지 들어왔습니다. 오늘 멋진 경기
So this was a very entertaining interview with Score, Mara, and Deft from KT Rolster, and I'll send it back to Brandon and Papa. Thank you.
It's snowing.
We
Okay,
know our mic is on there. If you're wondering, Spo TV production. I feel like the Spo TV interviews keep getting new cues. We're getting new presents,
you know?
new props. Where is it ending, Valdez?
New ideas abound here at Spo TV, it seems. Lots of breaking news that unfortunately, I think only one was able to get translated amongst all the translation that I needed to do. Maybe in the future I can help you guys out in the chat. But
Somehow we had a party, then
was-
we had
yeah.
breaking news, then we had extra special guests and presents.
yeah,
Nothing, no
Score.
expense spared at Spo TV.
Score having a rough time there in the beginning, but enjoying the 6-year anniversary celebration, no doubt. And we're getting some highlights here, but basically SoHwan won his lane hard and then Ryze at his team because they couldn't close it out for him.
So basically everyone promos experience.
Yeah.
I guess SoHwan was in Game 5 of his promo series to Challenger, and unfortunately everyone else on his team just not cooperating the way he needed. Smeb with the one assassination play he got to make. This would have felt good after 25 minutes of being raged upon by a troll.
Sometimes that's all it takes, for Cho'Gath. Just one try, and you get your opportunity, and it really matters. And that's about it. The life of a Cho in professional games. But yeah, Deft with the cool move towards the end. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of that in the future, but also some more respect for that kind of play because Teddy just standing right in front of it, didn't expect it.
And in the 3-game long series, we're actually going to have a bit of a shorter break than usual this time, Valdez, after 8 p.m. So it's still going to take the standard 20-minute turnaround, but we'll not be starting at 7:50. So it's looking like, if I look at my watch now, around 8:35 probably Korean Standard Time. So over 20 minutes from now, into our second match, final match of the week, BBQ versus MVP. There's a bit of a spoiler there.
Yeah, this is going to be, maybe not the top 2 teams of the league, but MVP is showing a bit more promise as they they took out BBQ the last time. They won a game, and it was a 2-0. It was pretty
We got
quick.
the weird greater than thing happening where MVP beat BBQ, who beat Kingzone Dragon X. Who knows what that means when we get that game. We know that for this match, KT Rolster joins Kingzone at 8 wins, but only +9 on the game score.
You know who beat MVP was Kongnu Monster. So at the end of it all, Kongnu Monster is greater than Kingzone.
Ah.
So we've gone down the ladder, and it all makes sense now. LCK is in the underworld at this point. Everything's flipped upside down.
3rd through 6th, though. Only 1 match win separated them, so it's still very, very competitive. Here is the schedule to confirm. Last match of the week. MVP versus BBQ. BBQ informed Trick going to be playing again. That's fun to see. So BBQ Olivers with their EULCS talent, of course. It's once again here in Korea. I know some people get mad about that meme, but it's hilarious. Let's see some more Trick. I want to see the Ivern. Bring me the Ivern, please, Valdez.
Sure, why not? You know, if there's a team to practice it up against, it's up against, you know, the 9th place team in LCK. Why not? And Trick definitely garnered a lot of confidence from his team, from the fans after his last performance, so why not? I mean, you have a good best of 3 up against Kingzone. You certainly deserve to be in the lineup ahead of Bono once again, who unfortunately is not available, as happens when you are Bono. So looking forward to that one. We'll see if MVP can put a fight together up against BBQ, who's looking a bit better this time around.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Short break, 20 minutes, then more League of Legends. Got to finish off this week. Swing.
Yeah, so me and Papa, we're going to go eat some BBQ chicken. When we come back, we'll watch some BBQ chicken up against MVP. So we'll see you then in about 20 minutes.
This is the day I find a better way. I'm gonna keep on running, and I'm not gonna stop.
2018 LCK 스프링 스플릿 오늘의 첫 번째 매치는 KT 롤스터의 승리로 끝이 났습니다. 저희는 선수들의 재정비 시간이 끝나는 20분 후 MVP와 BBQ 올리버스의 경기로 다시 인사드리겠습니다. 여러분 고맙습니다.
With every step I know that I'm not gonna